You know, in the world of cybersecurity, there's this constant battle being fought every single second of every day. And it's not just about stopping the bad guys, it's about trying to find a real signal in this overwhelming sea of noise. So, what if you could finally, actually, silence all that chaos and just get straight to the truth? Let's dive in and see how we can do just that.
Think about our security analysts. They're really the guardians of our entire digital world. They're on the front lines, day in and day out. But here's the thing. There's a huge flaw in their arsenal. These guardians are being absolutely overwhelmed. And not just by attackers, but by this deafening roar of alerts coming from their own security tools.
And look, this isn't just some small issue. This is the central crisis in modern security operations. You've probably heard of it. It's called alert fatigue, and it is burning out the very people we count on to keep all of us safe.
Think about this for a second. Some studies show that as high as 99% of all security alerts are false positives. 99%. That's just a staggering amount of wasted time and energy. It's kind of like trying to find one genuine cry for help in a stadium where every single person is screaming at the top of their lungs. The real threats? They just get completely buried under this avalanche of stuff that doesn't matter. So why is this happening? Well, it's kind of ironic, actually. It's because the very tools we've built to protect ourselves have accidentally created this huge critical gap in our security. The systems that were designed to help us have, in a lot of ways, become a massive part of the problem.
And this dilemma really comes down to our current tools. See, on one hand, you've got your detection platforms, right? Your XDRs and SIMs, and they're great at spotting potential threats, but they just create this fire hose of alerts. They tell you something might have happened, but they leave the crucial so what part completely up to the analyst. Then on the other hand, you have SOAR platforms, which are supposed to automate the response, but honestly, they're often incredibly complex, super brittle, and you need dedicated engineers just to maintain these playbooks that can break with a single software update.
So who feels this pain the most? Well, it's the managed security service providers, the MSSPs, and all those smaller non-enterprise security teams. These folks don't have armies of engineers on standby. They need efficiency, they need clear answers, they do not need more complexity, and they certainly don't need more noise. They need a solution that just works.
Okay, so this is where things start to change. We're pivoting from the problem to the solution. The industry is finally realizing that we can't just keep making our existing tools louder. We need a whole new category, a totally new way of thinking that's designed specifically to bridge that gap we were just talking about.
And this image here, it really captures that shift perfectly. We're moving away from that chaotic, noisy landscape and into a command center that's all about clarity and control. This represents a brand new type of platform, one that brings real order and intelligence to the whole security workflow.
So, this new category has a name. It's A3R. It stands for Automated Alert Analysis and Response. And the idea is pretty simple, but it's also revolutionary. An A3R platform, like Aegis Prime, sits right between detection and response. It takes in every single raw alert and spits out a complete, definitive investigation. No more manual digging. And here's the absolute key. No playbooks required.
All right, so how on earth is this even possible? It's not magic, I promise. It's all about a highly structured and really disciplined process. So let's pop the hood and see what's actually driving this thing.
It all comes down to this incredibly smart, methodical approach. Every single alert goes through this 7-phase analysis pipeline. It starts by getting all the data into a standard format, then it decodes any hidden or obfuscated stuff, maps behaviors to the MITR ATTK framework so you know what the adversary is trying to do, scores the risk, and then pulls it all together into a final synthesis that a human can actually read and understand. It's basically an assembly line for truth.
And this right here, this philosophy, is what really separates this approach from all the noise. Just look at the right column for a second. What it doesn't do. It refuses to guess. It doesn't just assume intent. It doesn't flag things as vaguely suspicious, and it never ever escalates based on a simple pattern match. Now look at the left. It analyzes this specific alert for observed malicious behavior. It gives you verdicts that are reproducible and can be audited. It only escalates when there is verifiable proof. That's it.
Okay, here's a perfect, real-world example of what I'm talking about. Most tools, they need the full context, the whole process tree, to figure out if something is bad. But Aegis Prime can see a single command line, like this one using regsvr32 to pull a file from a URL, and it knows on its own that it's malicious. It actually detects the intent from the artifact itself without needing anything else. And that right there is a total game changer.
Okay,
So what does this all boil down to? For the analyst who's actually on the front lines, dealing with this stuff every day, what's the real tangible benefit of this whole approach? Let's take a look.
And this is the end result. This is what it's all for. A raw, confusing alert comes in, and in less than 1/10 of a second, the analyst gets this: a clear verdict, likely malicious, a definitive risk score, and a full attack graph showing you exactly what happened. You're not just getting data, you're getting a straight-up answer.
And the best part is, these advantages are built specifically for the teams that are really feeling the pressure. The interface, it's literally as simple as copy-paste. It's designed from the ground up for MSSPs that are juggling multiple clients. And, so importantly, there are no black boxes. Every single verdict is transparent, showing you exactly how it reached its conclusion. It's built for the reality of a modern security operations center, where speed and clarity are everything.
You know, this quote just nails the entire philosophy. The goal isn't to build a louder SOC, a louder security operation. The goal is to build a quieter, truer one, by finally silencing the noise and focusing only on the things that actually matter.
So, I guess I'll just leave you with this one final question to think about for your own security operations. Are your tools and processes focused on generating more alerts, or are they focused on delivering the answers you actually need to stay safe? Because really, that one distinction, it changes everything.